Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome. Welcome to another episode of The Infinite Way, where spirituality meets humanity. And back for a second time, it brings me great pleasure to share with you Athena Melchizedek. Athena is a pioneer of unity consciousness on the planet. She specializes in group mentoring and group energy management for heart-centered visionary leaders, empowering them to step into their own sovereignty and freedom. She holds degrees in advanced psychoenergetics, energy healing science, and remote energy transmission from BBSH, plus an MS social and integrative health science. She published The Quantum Keys, Unlock Your Energetic Intelligence in 2017, where the book describes a pathway to self-realization and a synergy of modern science and ancient wisdom that characterizes all her work. She has also studied with the great yogi Sadhguru at the Isha Foundation in Coimbatore, India, and her activities as a mentor and transformation guide are enhanced by her devotion to yogic science and mysticism. Welcome, Athena Melchizedek.
Thank you so much, Anolia. I didn't know you were going to go through all of that again. it's such a mouthful, all of it, isn't it?
It is. It's beautiful though, because it characterizes and shares just a little bit of our experience through the years that we've put and placed here on this planet, right?
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you. And it's so lovely to be back here again with you. It's always a joy, a beautiful, beautiful energy. It really makes me want to smile, always being with you. You're lovely. You have the most beautiful smile that we want to emulate, copy, not copy, but just it brings in smiles. So thank you for your lovely countenance.
Thank you so much. You're so thoughtful. I have been looking at what to speak with you about, all week, kind of like contemplating what is it that we want to bring you back for. And in all honesty, I am so piqued with interest to understand your name.
Okay.
Because it represents so much more than what just at face value. And so would you share with us a little bit about that?
Okay. So the first thing I want to say about any name is that when you say I am so and so, or I am this, or I am that, that's stating that you are that essence, that energy, that frequency, that vibration, whatever name you want to give it. And so I'm quite reluctant I'm very careful about what I place after I am these days, because it is a creation. It is a creative force. It is when you say I am happy, this is what you're giving out. You're smiling. Yeah. You're giving out that the essence of happy. When you say I am sad, then this is exactly what you're giving out. Although it's hard for me. It's kind of hard for me to be sad at the moment, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So when I say I am Athena Melchizedek, I think, uh-oh. do I want to say that? So first of all, I want to say it's not my giver. It's not the name I was born with. Number one, that's just so it's not the name I was born with. But the frequencies of the name are very similar to what I was born with. but we don't need to go into that in too much detail. But you know, I just wanted to say it wasn't the name I was born with. These are names, and I actually have 3 names, which which is even wilder, because they came in 3 different stages of my life, in 3 different, very different places on the planet, in 3 very different groups, and at 3 different stages of my own journey into spirit and all of it. So that's kind of just the framework of the naming. So if I may just share with you, and I know you're really interested in the Melchizedek, but I would like to give you the other 2 as well.
No,
Is that okay?
The complete story. That's
it won't,
totally fine.
It'll be what it'll be, but maybe you'll just you'll be able to have an understanding, and also your audience will understand that even though it's a naming, it's really just, for me, the 3 names were kind of like initiations, and they were also my my acceptance of the next piece of the journey, if that makes sense. The next, because each one, to change your name is a big thing. You know, most people change their name when they get married. I didn't. I didn't do that. So I stayed with my birth name, even though I was married in terms of being committed to a partner for a long time. I never actually took that person's name, interestingly enough.
Okay.
So that's one piece, you know, this whole naming thing. Again, I find, because it is energy, it is what you make a kind of agreement with a name. This is what I've found anyway. This on my going through all of this is what I found. So let's dive into Athena. She came along after I had I'd done all my all the big training that you spoke of when you introduced me, and done all that. That was all done out of the way. Very deep dive into this being and what she was all about. I then from there, I went into the Amazon with a friend of mine. She was facilitating a ceremony in the Amazon over 3 weeks. It was a 3-week period where we were working with plant medicine with a specific tribe in the Peruvian Amazon. So I think that's in Peru. Yes, it was Peru. So during the various ceremony, and this was a huge, I'd never done plant medicine before. I had never had anything to do with it. And being the person I am, I always wanted to test out everything. I heard of it and I thought, what a wonderful thing to be doing, going into the middle of the jungle with the the indigenous beings, and learning all about how they live, and learning all about plant medicine, and I was, wow, this is fabulous. And I was on this spiritual journey of going in, and I thought, this is just the next thing. And I had been working with this wonderful woman for years. We'd been working together just online, doing meditation, big group meditations. She used to run meditations for healing, for working with the planet, for working with multiple, groups and what have you. So we used to do it all online, and a group of us she had a kind of a following, I guess, although I wouldn't say I was a follower. I just liked what she was doing, and I thought, what a fabulous way to bring some good energy to the planet. And so for 8 years before I got to meet her, I kind of worked with her online in this
Okay.
group. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then came the time we were going to meet. So the outcome of all of this was I went on to this beautiful retreat with her and a group of about, I think, 25 of us, where we all were at different stages of development, but all interested to, some had been before, others like me it was their first time. And I was really excited. So it's a 3-week journey into the inner being with the plants. And so the upshot of it was, one of the many things that I learned about myself was this name came in. And what happened was, after one of the ceremonies, I can't remember which one it was, it doesn't really matter, but we used to do a lot of journaling. We used to do we would do the ceremony, then we would need to rest, and then we would be journaling, and we would be doing other exercises around what was coming up for ourselves and within the group. And so I just happened to be sitting there journaling one day, one of these break times, and the facilitator came along to me and she said, "What's your name?" And she knew what she was doing. She knew exactly what she was doing. And I just answered without even any thought, "It's Athena." And I looked at her and she looked at me. And I didn't know where that came from. I didn't know where that came from. I just said, it just came out of it absolutely organically, without any thinking. No, the mind was not thinking. I was deep within whatever I was doing. I was journaling something about something, and which I can't remember now, but it just came forth. And I thought, well, isn't I said, "Athena," and she smiled. And we just left it. She never said another word to me about it. And I never said another word to her, actually. I just thought, isn't that strange? And then for 2 years, I just sat, I thought, I put it on the back burner.
Uh-huh.
But what I did do was I looked up what Athena was about. What did she represent?
Right.
In the past, she was an archetype. A name is simply an archetype. And this one was, she was a goddess. And I thought, wow, whoa, what's going on here? And then because I had no reason to look up Athena, the goddess, before. But when I googled it, the name came up, Athena, Pallas Athena. It came up, the goddess, and all the things that she was, that she represented in the archetypal, mythical sense.
Yeah. Yes.
And so that.
Oh, go ahead. I'm going to have you continue, but I want to interject something, because this is really, really important for our studio audience to understand, okay? Which is the fact that when we name something, when we have engaged a name on our lips, right? It's the power of our words, right? There's a certain vibrational frequency that comes out that engages, because every word has a resonance, okay? And so when we're calling ourselves, and when we're using that name over and over and over and over and over again, that is what attracts, that which part of what attracts to us. When we're called, when we state our name, how many people, that there was this exercise I did when you got to sing your name, and you sing your name 3 times, and many people have never done that. They've never really truly called their own name, and like I looked up my name, and my name actually means old soul that brings light into the world.
Oh my goodness. Well, that doesn't surprise me.
So I want people to understand that there's power in naming. And that's why, when you're just naming something at a whim, you shouldn't. You should really take time to think about that name, because That's a vibrational frequency that you're bringing to that particular situation, business, whatever the case may be, or being, and that it should have meaning and it should have a significance.
Absolutely.
So
and
please.
Yeah, the excellent point, Anolia. And so it brings me on to say that the names that were given by our parents are not necessarily the names that we would choose.
Exactly.
So sometimes we get in a situation in life, like I have done 3 times, to actually choose, can I take this on? Can I take this on, or do I stay with the old, So it's really interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. So I did not take on the name Athena right away because I didn't know what was going on. But I did look her up, and I looked at the qualities of the goddess, and I thought, goddess, she was goddess of war. I thought, well, that's not something I'm really wanting to embrace. But then, of course, we have different kinds of warriors. She was a warrior.
Yes.
Not necessarily a war maker. She was a warrior. She was a very, very, very strong, warrior. And I thought, wow, that can apply to me. I am a warrior. I have, in the sense of not killing people, but in the sense of standing up for what I believed was right, and standing in my, standing up for freedom and for sovereignty, and the ability to make our choices has always been part of of this being's framework. And so that felt really good when I could see it in that way. It felt very strong, and it felt like it was confirming to me a strength within. And apart from the other thing, I mean, she had a long list of things that she got involved with. She was a builder of civilizations. She was interested in the arts and crafts. There were many things that the Greek, she was the Greek goddess.
Yes.
So there were many things in the archetypal description of this being that I could relate to. Except, may I say it, that she was a virgin goddess, and that didn't apply to me. Well, oh heck, that's okay. That's the archetype. I can mold my own version of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to make this relatable. I don't want people to walk away with the idea that, oh, this woman's crazy. She thinks she's a goddess. No. It's an archetypal energy here that we're speaking to. Was I going to embrace it? And I did not embrace it for 2 years until I walked into the next piece, which was the Melchizedek. And so now you're beginning to see why I have to describe the two things, or the 3, really, the 3 that I will describe if we've got time. So that's where Athena came in. She came in gently. She came in, with research and with proper understanding of what you describe to your audience, that it is something that to be mindful of, what you're taking on when you take on a different name.
Yes.
Or a different descriptor of your energy. And so I did think, I was very mindful. I even did the numerology of it, and it turned out that she was, this name is the name of a master builder. I don't think that scared me. Thinking, I wonder what she's a master builder of, you know. But again, it all became clear when the next piece came on again. So I mean, I'm just, you know, framing it up because you've got to imagine this being that's sort of on this journey, and all this information is coming in. I'm kind of trying to understand what's really going on here, and whether or not I make the right choice, you know, make the right choice. So the next time this cropped up was 2 years later, when I had, through the lady whose retreat this was, I had met another gentleman who, when I first met him, was called one name, and the next time I met him, he was called another name, and he was a Melchizedek. He had a surname of Melchizedek. And I had been interested in him and his work because he had been to the same healing school. So, you know, that I had, only he had attended the school in Europe, I had attended in the USA. But nevertheless, we had this in common. And I was interested in the work that he was doing. And I met him in Mexico.
Okay.
And through this other facilitator. Anyway, long story short, he was running a session in Ibiza, Spain. I think it was 2016, so it might have been only a year. Yeah, only a year afterwards. And it might have been 2. It doesn't matter. And I thought, I'm going to go again. I'm still on this journey of, this sounds exciting. You know, anything that was going to bring in information, anything that was going to help me on my journey, on my pathway. I was just following guidance, constantly following guidance. Go here, go there, go here, go to Timbuktu. If that's what my guidance said, that's what I would do. This has been my life. And it's taken me a right old, you know, uphill and downhill. So the next thing was go to Ibiza and meet this person, and see what they were offering this course, another retreat with another group. You know, I love groups. I'm a real group. I'm a groupie girl. I love groups because I have found they're so powerful, whether you're a participant or whether you're facilitating. Either way, it doesn't matter. You're going to get gorgeous, powerful energy and powerful information for yourself. And it doesn't matter whether you're leading it or whether somebody else is leading it. I have found, because if you're meant to be there, you're there. And you all contribute to whatever unfolds for everybody. So this is why I love that, you know, this is why it's so it's kind of a no-brainer, really. When we look out into the world, you know, how we fix what's going on, we come together. Yes. And in groups. This is the most simple answer that is staring people in the face. But anyway, they'll get it eventually. Anyway, back to Melchizedek. So so again, this group was offering plant medicine. Now, by this time, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to continue with the plant medicine. You know, I think I want to say at this juncture to the audience, just be mindful of getting too hooked onto any kind of particular way of doing things. The plant medicine is good, and it brought in certain things for me, but I only did it 3 times, and then I walked away from that. You know, it's not, because you can get hooked in. You can get addicted into ways of doing things, and you know what I mean. When there's
I will make this comment, and this is how I truly feel about it, because I sat down with a shaman who was an ayahuasquera, and in Peru, and I went through 3 days of his training without the plant medicine, understanding all of the stories and the history, without absent of the medicine.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I fundamentally asked him is, how often should anyone be doing this particular plant medicine? And he said to me, once every 25 years, or when you have a serious question to answer in a lifetime, right? So 2-3 times in your lifetime, yes. But, it makes me question if that's coming from the ayahuasca directly, all of the other behaviors. So, but that's my purpose.
Very, very interesting. Well, my things certainly weren't every 25 years, but I will say that I had a kind of concertina kind of training, if you like. So it all, I did it very close, really. Perhaps because of the nature of what was coming in for me, and it was necessary on my particular journey. Bearing in mind I was, in my, well, how old was I? I was in my 50s, 60s, 60s, yeah. So possibly because of that, I was on a fast program.
And this isn't to criticize anyone at all.
Yeah.
I just asked the question.
No, but that's great. That's great. And I felt also the need to say, don't get addicted to these ways, because they can be so beautiful and bring in so much for you, but also they can send you crazy if you do too much. And that's not what this is about. So went on to the retreat with this brother, if you like, I'll call him a brother, and with the two brothers that were facilitating this. And then this next name came in during one of the ceremonies, or after the ceremony. Again, I was journaling and downloading and downloading as an aftermath, and the name, and they asked me the name, and I said Melchizedek. Yeah, Melchizedek. I'm part of the Melchizedeks. I am a Melchizedek. And I didn't know what that meant at that time.
Okay.
I didn't know what that meant. And so again, because I had such an open mind, even though the facilitator had gone through this process, I hadn't looked it up or researched it, because it wasn't my process. I trusted that I was being guided, and I think this is another important piece. I was trusting my own guidance. It wasn't about what somebody else was telling me about themselves or their journey. I was just trusting that I had this opportunity, and I checked in. Is this something I should do? Because this comes back to the sovereignty piece again, and the choice that we have for everything in our life. And I want to make that really clear. This is important to me. And so Melchizedek came in. So as soon as I got that one, then I thought, there's something going on here. I really need to check out what all this means. So I and I was getting downloads as well, because I was in their company. I was with a group of Melchizedeks. So the Melchizedek, and the other thing that, well, I'll perhaps go into it as I explain. So the Melchizedeks are a group of beings that are not from this universe. So the Melchizedek, yes. So the Melchizedeks were a lineage that were not from this universe, and came to this planet as the hosts of this whole, shall we say, architecture of this holographic universe. Yeah. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is all this about? Because I knew Melchizedek from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, he appeared, you know, the one that appeared in the Bible just appeared out of nowhere. There was never a beginning for him. Nobody knew where he came from, or nobody could describe where he came from. And you can check it out even now if you want to go check the Bible. It says that there was nobody knew how he was born or where he was born or where he came from. And so this is kind of a clue to the being. So basically, you could say that the Melchizedeks were from the stars.
Yes.
So let's and they had a role in the development of this planet, but also there was a portion of them actually fell. So there's a group called the fallen Melchizedeks as well. Okay. And so without going into the entire story, because I just need to go back to the star piece, if I may, and then I'll come back into. So the star piece, I already knew that I had already received information in my very, very first awakening. My first awakening was with my yoga teacher, and I think I might have mentioned this in the last.
Yes, you did.
In the last one we did, where, you know, with him, his frequency was so very high that when I was with him, I just automatically was able to raise up to that vibration, and I could actually see so much more than I would normally see, and I saw him as this star being, as well as all his other expressions, which was very beautiful and a very beautiful experience for me. And then I realized that, well, I can see him because I am of that state, you know, I am of that code, I am of that vibration. And so it was not news to me to find that I was now with a group of beings that were telling me, well, we are not from this, you know, this is not our lineage. Our lineage is from the stars. And so these are the beings that people call star seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And they're from all sorts of different planets. So my knowing of this being is that I have connections to the Pleiades, to Sirius, and to Arcturus. Those are the three lineages that I know that I have a connection to. In saying that, it's all meaningless because I am here now as a human being, and all star seeds. So again, I want to make the point, this is not about being special in any way, because I think a lot of star seeds get the impression that they're special, or give the impression that it's, oh, these are really special beings. It's not about that. This is just about knowing your galactic lineage. And it comes to you when the time is right for it to come to you, when it's meaningful, when you're at a time or at a place on your journey where it's useful to know that you are more than just you know, a human being on this planet in a body, or you're more than just a physical body. This is part of your spirituality, part of your spiritual heritage. And you get to know, as you expand your consciousness, this is the whole piece. As you expand more and more and more with the work, the inner work that you're doing and the outer work that you're doing on the earth, then you get more and more information about who you really are, until you get the final piece of information, which says you're the all of it. You are all of it, and you experience that. So this is the journey of to self-realization, and these are some of the steps that we take. Everybody's journey is different,
Right.
but this is what unfolded for me. So the Melchizedek came in, and my understanding or knowing is that as being involved in the architecture of the planet and its inhabitants. When we say architecture, I mean the geometries and the codings that bring the DNA because they seeded the angelic human. They seeded the angelic human. Unfortunately, some of them also got involved with the people who were trying to squash the angelic human and turn the angelic human into a slave. And those beings also were part of our planet's history. So this is what we're currently, this is what, when we're talking about disclosure, all of this is what is coming up in disclosure, or will come up in disclosure. So I hope your audience is not going to be too well, they're wanting to lock me up in a cell thinking that I'm a lunatic.
The name of this podcast is called The Infinite Way. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot. How could I forget? Yes. So again, it's so aptly named. This is the infinite way, and this has been my infinite way of learning and growing and expanding. And I mean, there's so much more. Each of these topics is like a whole topic on its own.
It's a whole topic on itself. And it's so funny. I'm sitting here thinking about the fact that like the journey that I went through, I was actually given my spirit name by my grandmother elder through the Ojibwe. And that spirit name is the name that they call you on the other side. And that name that was given to me fits me so appropriately, because my spirit name is Changing Times Way, Changing Times Woman.
Wonderful.
And it fits me so perfectly, because of when I enter in situations and things like that, that a shift can take place.
Sure.
So the vibration of that, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I've been with experiences with other people, because I remember also being in Abadania, Brazil, and I was with my particular roommate, and we were there as she was going through her journey, and I remember her going through this iteration one night when she was like, she had unraveled everything. She had unraveled everything. And she's like, go get two of my friends. I have a new name. You are going to facilitate a naming ceremony for me. And I'm like, okay. And I went and I grabbed the two other ladies, and the four of us were there as she shared with me that name. And then it's like we created a little ceremony and we deemed her that name. And that's what we called her from that moment on.
Beautiful.
And it was just so beautiful. We as beings, we know what we're called sometimes. And we need to embrace that calling.
Sure.
And vibrationally, it's meaningful to us and in our lives, and we're called that, and we ignore these things. And I would love if you could share just a little bit of that intricacy of how you knew that everything had to change. The knowing of the name had to be embraced.
Yeah. It's just kind of when it well, for me, it was just the way it kind of bypassed my thinking mind, and it was a knowing within the body, within the cells, within it totally bypassed having any thought about it. It didn't come from that place. It came from pure connection to source. And,
Yes.
and through the connection within my body and my energy field. So yeah, it kind of bypassed the thinking mind, the linear mind, and just came through. And there's a knowing and an acceptance, and it's just there. And so when this happened, then I realized that the two names went together, Athena, Melchizedek, and that became my name. And then, so when I realized this, I knew that there was, and also the meaning of it, which was meaning that, you know, I was what the kind of work that I was supposed to be here to do, which is to be building the new, but also to be rebuilding and helping the people of this planet rebuild themselves out of darkness and into the light. And so the coding of the human being, which has been very much interfered with from the original angelic human, because it's been interfered with by many different sources over the eons. You know, the Melchizedeks are here to hold that coding, first of all, to hold that energy, to hold that right. the coding of the angelic human, and to help other beings come out of distortion. So this is one thing that I really wanted to mention.
Yes, please do. Please do.
The out of distortion is really all the conditioning that we have from our current lives and all of the eons of history, you know, that is embedded within our DNA. So this is the work I do, the shadow work, which always starts with what's going on in this lifetime, but then it takes us down the rabbit hole of where it really truly began. And, you know, I'm able to work with beings, and this is the work I've done for myself, and this is what I'm able to do and help other beings with. So this is, you know, we work on this lifetime, and then it takes us into any historical stuff. And I've just done one for myself just very recently since I moved to Cornwall, which has been phenomenal in, you know, from a previous lifetime that was here, that was brought up by the land here, and a piece that needed to be cleared, and I was able to do it. So I do this for myself, but most of my stuff is kind of done. But this is the work I'm doing with other people. So, and the third one, because the Melchizedek is a big piece, you know, is a much bigger. Yeah. We could go into that as a separate thing, but that's, you got the gist. I hope I've given you the gist of that, and it's been meaningful. So the third name, which I don't use, sometimes use when on my programs, I don't. It's not on my passport. Is Sananda, which is Sanskrit for joy. For Beautiful. Joy. And that is the name that I was given when I went to the Himalayas, and the vow that I made in the Himalayas to bring forth the Christ consciousness to this planet and to its people. When I say Christ consciousness, this is a consciousness field. This is not, yes, connected into being called Jesus, Yeshua Christ, but it is a much bigger. It's a consciousness field that through the coding of this being, I'm able to bring forth to this planet for joyful purposes. And so So we come
I
full
love it.
full circle to where we started.
Yes,
And this
yes.
is so this is who I am by name. This is what I accept, and I have chosen to be and to be called. Yeah.
Yes, and you know, it's so beautiful because we did not come to this planet to play small. We did not. And, you know, we have to break out of those frameworks that would have us be small. So I so respect and appreciate the names that you chose and the meanings behind them, because we are energy beings. And so you were saying, oh, people think I'm crazy. No, 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 no. You know, some of us remember where we were prior to this,
Yeah.
before being born.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of us embrace it through other beauty of gifts that we embrace, whether it's language of light, whether it's, you know, understanding our own cosmology. Cosmology is there for every tribe, you know. We look to the stars. We were the gatekeepers. We were the watchers. We were the warriors, you know. And to not embrace and to think that when we have those lucid dreams and we're fighting for a cause, or we're having those lucid dreams and we're acting in a way that was like, okay, I'm in another place, space, and time, and then we go, oh, it was just a dream. And you know, I don't believe they're dreams. I believe that they're remembrances.
They're remembrances. Yes.
Of where we used to be and who we used to be at all times. But we like to call them, because we like our limits, we like to call them dream states, right? But the dimensions of who we were when we were, at the moment that we were. And some of us remember.
Exactly. And also, I think the other important thing to state as well is that not all of this is sweetness and light. We have been the all of it. We have been the darkness. We have been the war. You know, the warriors that are on the other side of what a warrior means. You know, so I mean, I can remember lifetimes of that, of being, you know, not the more that, shall we say, violent warrior. But now I do want to state that has been kind of recombobulated within my being, and you know, now it's definitely peaceful. So I don't want to come away from this people thinking that, you know, oh, Athena is all for war, and that's not the truth of who I am. I am a warrior for peace, definitely a warrior for peace, and always will be. But yeah, it's but I'm also I think it's so important to accept that you know, that we've had so many experiences of the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the devilish, you know, the all of it. And the beautiful thing is that we can choose, and we're here to do that, to make these choices for beauty, for the what I call the Christ consciousness and unity. Christ consciousness is the same as unity consciousness. Yes. There are so many different names for these, for what we speak of, and this is another puzzlement for many people, you know, the meaning of this and the meaning of that. Well, most of it means the same thing. A lot of it means the same thing. A lot of it means the same thing, and I think we need to just give that out there. But yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to bring joy in.
Athena, Melchizedek, thank you for sharing your wisdom and your story. It's important that people realize and know we have these discussions to learn, to cherish, to share, and to expand, most of all. So, Athena, any last words that you want to say?
Oh my goodness, I feel like I've been talking forever. No, just to say, just, really to sit in gratitude, to be able to speak with you and to be able to be with your audience. It's such a pleasure to bring in such beautiful sharings, because this is purely sharing, my sharing. It's nothing more or nothing less, and it's always wonderful to share. So thank you all for listening. I hope it's meaningful for you. And yeah, great, a lot of gratitude. Thank you, Manolia.
Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed what we learned, because I definitely did. This has been another episode of The Infinite Way, where spirituality meets humanity. If you like what you heard, please like us. Please share the gift of this podcast with anybody who might be actually going through the iterations of looking at their name and looking at the symbology of what their name brings. There's a lot to it, much, much more than we realize. So again, thank you for being with us. Thank you, Athena. Yes, and take care for now. Bye-bye, everyone.